Hello, Adder, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is a series where instead of making fun of your commander in short form and talking about whether or not I would kiss all up on it, I will politely and carefully take a look at your commander deck and its weird little PP. Your PP being your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. For this deck, we're taking Yusri, but we're not doing coin flips, which I do like quite a lot. We're using Yusri as a card draw engine. And we want to play really big Izzet spells. So we want to use Yusri to make sure we are drawing into the ramp we need and into the big cards we need to do big explosive stuff in the late game, which is very fun. It's my favorite Izzet archetype. And your practicum is the stuff that's actually in the 99. It's the places we go wrong. So this deck is going to be played mostly over spell table. So we're going to avoid cards that are tricky to resolve via webcam. And we're looking for advice on what bracket should we go into, what's our top end, how are we going to win. I am going to say from what you've laid out here, this is a bracket 2 plan, through and through. I think there are ways we can make it bracket 3, but quite frankly, if we're not going to start doing big stuff until turn 5 or 6, that is 100% bracket 2. That's 100% like I'm playing with precons, maybe with upgraded precons. The thing we can do to land in the upper end of bracket 2 and still play in the lower end of bracket 3 is we can make a lot of our big spells things that are big threats that deal with a threat. I think a prime example of a big threat that deals with a threat. I think you have this one already. I recommend it to a lot of big mana decks in red, but this is Cascade. So we're going to put out some value. It's not even like the biggest guaranteed threat because we don't know what we're going to cascade into, but we're going to get to one-sided board wipe and establish value on our own board. This cannot be the high watermark. This has to be the median for the type of card we're casting. We can't do, or you don't have room to do a lot of guaranteed stuff. You don't have room to do a lot of stuff that is piggybacking on other cards. You have to do a lot of things that just say let me look at big Izzet creatures. Commander Izzet. You have to fucking drop Hullbreaker Horror on the table. You have to drop, if you want to go creature heavy, Terror of the Peaks on the table. Meteor Golem. You could do Balefire Dragon. This is even a little slow since we have to wait for it to swing. It's very hard to go wrong with the Eldrazi. Gosh, these cards are rude. You could do Inferno Titan. You could do Duplicant's really bad, but it is really expensive, and it does get rid of a threat to then become a threat itself. I think Meringue River Region is quite decent. It has 7 toughness and 6 power. I'm going to spare you all the hand motion, but this can be card draw if you want, or it can be big dragon, bounce to other things, go away, bye-bye. But that's kind of what we need it to be. We need it to, because our win's probably going to be damage unless we want to do a combo. And if our win's going to be damage, a lot of our things have to represent meaningful combat damage, and they have to have a good ETB, a good damage trigger, or like Tidespout Tyrant. This just I'm putting you in prison. Sludge Monster, also very good at putting people in prison. Summon Leviathan can kind of put people in prison. And so if that's not the play pattern you want, I would say bracket 3 is probably not for you, because there are going to be vanishingly few things that are proactive enough to work at that bracket and allow you to wait until turn 5 or turn 6 to even begin casting them, unless they're a combo, as I said. Boiler Villages, also good at it, right? If you don't cast this guy for impending and you just lay down your synergy creature, gone. Next turn I attack. Your blood artist, gone. Next turn I attack. Your sick mana dork, gone. You can also do that type of control strategy while throwing around a lot of combat damage, and then once the way is clear, you can just throw it to face. Could do shit like Veil 4. This will slow down people a lot. Could do Hammerhead Tyrant, another very good prison guard, but you need a shitload of prison guards if you want to make it to bracket 3. I like your idea on Portal to Phyrexia. Great for bracket 3. I don't love Mnemonic Deluge. This is kind of like if you want to focus on just big instants and sorceries, put Rutha in the command. Put Rutha in the command zone. Your life will be a million times simpler. You can do things like theft. I don't even think you need to do like Agent of Treachery can just be a card in the deck. I steal the best permanent on the table is good enough that it can just be in any version of the deck. But we need to do more things that go like biggest problem, no longer a problem. Maybe it's mine. Maybe you've sacrificed it. Maybe I've bounced it to your hand, but I don't have to be afraid of it when you untap. So let's go to what you do have. We have some counter spells. Cool. We have some greedy spells. We have some greedy spells. We have 20 pieces of ramp. Some evasive stuff. Sure. And then I'm going to stink face you here. The point, because you're using Yusri as a counterweight commander, right? We're using Yusri as, well, I'm going to have card advantage in my command zone, and that's all I care about them for. When you have a commander filling a role like that, you're doing it to be greedy and irresponsible in the deck itself. Right now, Yusri is the card advantage commander that is going to draw us into more card advantage. Now, for the big greedy ones, like Shamil, like Endstone, like Wondrous Crucible, right? Those can still be top end. But if we're putting like Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel, Consult the Star Charts, Mask of Memory, Stock Up, Supreme, like all of these cards are meant to help you fix a kind of rough starting hand. And that's what Yusri is supposed to be doing. And so I would be cutting nearly all of these, if not every single one of these, if I was using Yusri in the command zone to have access to more interaction and more threats. I doubt you need more ramp, but anytime I'm having my command zone do something weird and fill a very niche, like a specific niche in the deck, I don't put nearly any of that stuff in the 99 because like I already have it, right? And so I can see how this current version of the deck might spin its wheels a little bit because we just don't have room for like the big over the top things that are going to win the game. Even some of these big over the top things are like Apex of Power is meant to dig you to another big spell. It's not a big spell that will do anything. This is meant to get you the money for another big spell. I love Blatant Thievery though. Like and this is what we need to be the median. And in this version of the deck, it looks like the high watermark. Improvisation Capstone I'm pretty okay with because we'll just hit like a million pieces of ramp. I would say if you're going to run Improvisation Capstone, you should have more pieces of interaction that are non-counter spells. So that if you hit them off Improvisation Capstone, if you hit them off Call Force the Tempest, if you have any other Cascade stuff in the deck, you can, actually like, I have Reality Shift because I can cast this. I have Chaos Warp because I can cast this. I even have like Lightning Bolt because I can cast this. Versus Arcane Denial, you hit this off of any of your off the top things, even if you don't have that many, you're just letting those go to exile forever. And so like Stolen Identity, also not singularly proactive. Will of the Temur, not singularly proactive. These things only threaten damage if something else is already threatening damage. What I think you should do is cut down a lot on your cheap card advantage and replace it with self-contained threats like Balefire Dragon, Terror of the Peaks, Hullbreaker Horror, Tidespout Tyrant, Sludge Monster. It depends on how much of a prison guard, how much of a prison guard you want to be. Because if you don't want to be a prison guard, there's plenty of very good creatures like Trumpeting Carnosaur. You'll notice I'm recommending a lot of permanents. If you want to go non-permanent based, I just don't think Yusri should be the commander. There are a ton of cards that are better suited to take advantage of Izzet big mana than Yusri, like Rutha. Let's see this deck as it currently stands. We hit a bunch of ramp. Fucking beautiful. No problems on the ramp front. We get a Surveil 1. More ramp. You know what? I'm not even going to use that one. we ramp, we Yusri. So now, this is where Yusri is going to prove their worth to us. We're going to name 5, we're going to flip a bunch of coins, and we got to draw into something big and juicy. So how do I flip a coin? 1. So heads I win, tails I lose. Tails, I lose. Heads, I win. Heads, I win. Heads, I win. Holy fuck. Heads, I win. Holy fuck, I draw 4 cards and lose 2 life. Dope. The only big proactive thing we hit is Triple Triad, which is, in this version of the deck, not even going to work that reliably because so much of our deck is cheap card draw and cheap ramp. So I wouldn't even be hyper confident. I think there's a version of this deck where I'm hyper confident in something like Triple Triad, but it's the version that's not running cheap card draw and is just running a ton of heaters, like all these guys up here. So we just go Gilded Lotus, right? We're still not sad. We go Gilded Lotus, we go Wop Sword, we discard the worst land in our hand, and we say, yeah, this is all fine. We go to our next turn. We have 5, 8, 9 mana to spend. We could spend it on Triple Triad. I really don't want to because of all the qualms I've already expressed. So I'm going to slam the Wop Sword onto Yusri and say 5 again. Tails, I lose. Heads, I win. Heads, I win. Heads, I win. Heads, I win. What the dude? Okay. Little bit of Divine Right of Kings going on. Little bit of Magna Carta energy. I like that. Draw 4. Now we have Omniscience, and I think hilariously, so Omniscience is probably what led you to run all of that cheap card draw. If I had to just shoot from the hip. We get a treasure 4, we have 8. We're a little bit shy on Omniscience. So I will ramp Triple Triad. Pass. I really don't think it matters at this point. We're passing to our next turn, and then we're casting Omniscience. But, like, this is actually... Okay. I don't know if we exile the land or the counterspell, but we exile something really bad with Triple Triad. And we are now the deck that proves that Omniscience is not that crazy of a card. Because we do this, and we just go, okay, I have a bunch of swords, and now I've got to pray that I hit something good. And we may or may not hit something good. If we hit card draw, now we can keep ripping through the deck until we find something good, but I really don't want this deck to be predicated upon hitting Omniscience. I want us to have things to do on turn 4, 5, or 6 where we can spend our mana, get something good, and just be happy. So I would... What would I be gutting? I would be changing most of these to be proactive pieces of removal. I would probably keep Swan Song. I would keep An Offer You Can't Refuse. I think Spider Sense is pretty hot, considering you're going to be tapping Yusri every turn. But the rest of these, you can keep Azure Beastbinder as well. But the rest of these, I would turn into removal spells, such that if I hit them off Improvisation Capstone or Call Forth the Tempest or Trumpeting Carnosaur, the other thing I'm going to recommend for you, or Chimil, we can just cast them straight away instead of having to sit on them. And then let's think about what other fun threats should you be playing to really heat this shit up. I think this could be quite good. Man, I think another thing that could be quite fun, you could do some extra combats. Yeah, you would probably have to stop naming 5 pretty fucking quick because of how much damage you're taking. But like, oh boy, you get Balefire Dragon, you cast Full Throttle? That's a board wipe, baby. You get Summon Leviathan, you Full Throttle? That's a bunch of cards, baby. That didn't cost you any fucking HP. Sludge Monster, Full Throttle? That's 3 creatures that just don't matter anymore. But we need more things that have stat lines. You could do Ryusei. I don't think Ryusei is totally necessary or like the best payoff ever. I don't love Jill. She was dominant for this. God, I'm a really big fan of Sword Coast Serpent. It's not that good. I keep playing it. It keeps letting me down, and I keep putting it in new decks. So don't make my mistake. You could do Zoanthrope. I don't think this is that good, but I think this is kind of like bare minimum what we need it to do. It is a flying creature. Right, that's the other priority you have. You have to put up bodies that are going to stop people from beating you to death. You are going to be flicking yourself in the eyeball every turn. You're going to make it really, really easy for a green stompy player to just go like, hey, I think he's being a wise guy, see? And then Discord metal pipe noises are going to rain down from heaven. So to get in the way of that, we have the Gel Keepers. We have things like Zoanthrope that will scale to how much mana you have. It can draw a card. It can remove a pesky utility creature on someone else's board. I don't think you need Pouncing Shore Shark. I'm going to be so real. You could Exocrine if you just want to keep a board wipe in the pouch. Another good thing about Exocrine is you can... This would work really well with you having a bunch of big creatures, right? We pay, ideally, X equals 5 into Exocrine. Maybe we have Sludge Monster on the board or Overlord of the Boiler Bilges, so we only say 4. But like Balefire Dragon, Hullbreaker Horror, Trumpeting Carnosaur, not the Ferocidons, fuck me, maybe an expensive Zoanthrope, but a lot of other things you're looking for. You can pick a number where you will board wipe Yusri, who at this point we shouldn't need, and people who are not you. That's what we want. That's what we want every fucking time. Uh, Kyrie's actually low-key crazy. I think Kyrie only gets crazier as the curve of your deck goes up. You play Kyrie, they die, you get back Full Throttle, you get back Call Forth the Tempest, you get back Blatant Thievery, you get back Improvisation Capstone. Like, well, Improvisation Capstone is kind of the worst to get back because you can't reparadigm it, but you understand what I'm saying. As your mana curve goes up and you stop playing, little cheap things and you have really juicy targets to get back, and Kyrie will beat the shit out of people and be a little bit difficult to remove. And that's very much the angle we need to be hitting here. Don't think we care about him. Let's get rid of O-tag removal. And let's just go mana value greater than or equal to 5. Let me just see my big is it, boys. Tali's bad, but I want him to be good. Don't love Twin Flame Tyrant. Don't love Morag. Gear Hulk would be sexy and hot, and I'd be feeling it once we correct this cheap card advantage thing, because once you're flipping things like Kyrie, Ferocidons, all these guys, then very, very scary. Karlak seems pretty good. If you could slam this down, and if you missed with Yusri, you get another Yusri trigger. If you have your big scary guys, you get another round with your big scary guys. Nezahal, can never really go wrong with him. Wandering Archaic's actually fucked. I see almost nobody play this card because almost nobody has the mana to, or if they have the mana to, they have a more specific synergy that they want to do. And every time I see this card played, it like single-handedly creates the narrative of the game. It forces the river of time to bend to its will as you copy every removal spell, every card draw spell, every ramp spell. So I'd probably play that too. You could do Dracosaur for card advantage if you ever wanted to turn off the Yusri Faucet. And then again, this is like 5/5 with first strike. Excellent for like, I've played Yusri. It's the turn after I've played Yusri. I've drawn this. I'm somehow at 28 life already. I desperately, desperately, desperately do not want to die. What do I do? you lay down the Bone Horde Dracosaur. We talked about my boy Trumpeting Carnotaur. He's awesome. Kazul's kind of funny as like a wall to put up in front of people. If you don't want to be a prison guard or you want like a budget way to de-incentivize people from beating the shit out of you, this is one you can kind of like soft curve out to that might spare you a lot of damage or will get you a lot of damage on the crackback. Otten Soldier would be fucking insane for most of the things I'm recommending you put in this deck. We talked about Agent of Treachery. I think you're down with Anti-Causal Vestige. You got a lot of ramp pieces, being able to go, okay, turn after Yusri, warp in Anti-Causal Vestige, draw a card. At minimum, I'm putting a land into play. At maximum, I'm putting like a Thrawn Dynamo into play. I think that's heat there. The other thing I wanted to recommend to you, I think you are a deck that goes even a little bit lower on lands. You have 38 total. We have 36 in the untagged land section, but 38 altogether. And you only need 2. You only need 2. In that opening hand, you go 2 lands, Signet, you cast Yusri, everything after that is Yusri's problem. I'm not saying go down to 30, but I'm saying you could probably get away with like 3 to 4 fewer than you have. Because Yusri should be getting us a fair number of lands, and we're either going to be hitting lands or hitting ramp. And if you don't hit either of those with the quantity of ramp and lands that we currently have, God just hates you, and that happens sometimes. So that's everything I would recommend. Lean towards the ruder stuff if you want to make it in bracket 4. Lean towards just big guys who hit you like this if you want to make it in bracket 2, but I think that'll give you a more dedicated path to victory, and you'll have a very good time doing it. So thank you very, very much. Anybody in the comments, let me know if you have different suggestions, but I wish you the best, and I do hope this helps.